Authorize the supervisor to go out for bids for basic life support services and reimbursement of advanced life support fees on behalf of the town of Rotterdam.
Have a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Supervisor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passed.
Resolution number 132.11, authorize the supervisor to retain Sue Lombardi to prepare a grant to fund Phase 2 of the Burn Room project on behalf of the Rotterdam Fire Chiefs Association in an amount not to exceed $2,000.
Have a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passed.
Resolution number 133.11, authorize the discontinuance of the legal action entitled Town of Rotterdam against Bar Associates Incorporated and all counterclaims asserted therein pending under index number 2009-1093 in Schenectady County Supreme Court.
Have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passed.
Resolution number 134.11, declare the town of Rotterdam as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with 6 NYCRR Part 617 and State Environmental Quality Review relative to the below proposed amendment to the Code of the Town of Rotterdam for a comprehensive plan, amendment, and change of zone request as outlined in Resolution 135.11 below.
Have a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mr. Supervisor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passed.
Resolution number 135.11, call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, April 13th, 2011, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, V. Dalton Banbury Hearing Room, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, for the following purpose. For a comprehensive plan amendment and change of zone request on approximately 36,275 square feet of property from single-family residential R1 to retail business B1 on a portion of tax map number 59.18-4-26.2 and all of 59.18-4-26.1 located at 2984 Hamburg Street, Schenectady, New York, 12306. The applicant, Son of Italy, proposes to convert the single-family residence located directly behind the lodge to meeting space and enlarge the existing parking lot.
Have a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passed.
Resolution number 136.11, call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, April 13th, 2011, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, V. Dalton Banbury Hearing Room, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, for the following purpose. A local law amending Section 270 of the Town Code of the Town of Rotterdam to provide for mandatory training and attendance at regularly scheduled meetings for Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals members.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passed.
Resolution number 137.11, authorize the supervisor to execute documents to provide an easement across town property to allow access to property known as tax map parcel number 59.16-1-1 and to allow for placement of utilities upon such town property subject to approval by the town attorney as to form and content all of necessary documents.
I have a motion.
I have a question. This, according to our attorneys, needs a permissive referendum.
Is it? Yep, you mean for easement.
Yeah, but it needs a permissive referendum, and that's very entailed, correct?
That has to be put into record, is that the case?
It is subject to a permissive
Right, it
referendum.
doesn't mean it has to be.
It doesn't, no, that would be mandatory. It's similar to a protest petition. If there's a certain amount of the electorate, there's a specific procedure for it. If you had that requisite, the numbers of people on the petition, then it would be, to bring it up for a referendum. That's what and that just needs to be published on the notice of the resolution that is posted. And I believe you have 30 days to take action on it.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
I have a question, before we vote. I understand our role here as the board is limited on this particular item. This is not a normal zone change. This doesn't have anything to do with the planning board right now. But my understanding is it also goes back to the zoning board if it's approved. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay. The only thing I would ask, I did stop over today and I had to track down this parcel tax number, which there's no address in here. So it makes it very difficult for anybody to know what it means because we don't know what tax parcels mean. At least the ordinary people don't. That's me. So I did track them down and I did go over to the neighborhood today. And I spoke to the neighbors that would be involved. It was my understanding that this was the fourth time that this came before the boards over the past several years. And this particular change, my understanding is that the access and egress of the property to be able to make it useful property was moved from one part of the location of property where you enter, which had a 35 feet access on the roadways, to the other part on Mercer Avenue, which is between two homes, and this is the people that spoke here tonight earlier. Now again, I know our role is limited, and it's up. This is going to go to zoning from here, and there's probably going to be some stipulations as to what can be done and what can't be done over there. And I also understand it's got to go through NIMO for approval because they're crossing NIMO lines. So there's a lot more to this than this is just the beginning. But my point is, I would like to see if we're going to do this way again, if we could possibly at least let the people know that are affected, give them a chance to understand what we're trying to do, whether it be the contractor, builder, or planning, or zoning, or whomever. Just give them a little heads up. That would be the right thing to do, I think. And also, when we put a proposal down here as to have us look at it, please put the address and street number and such, so we know what we're talking about. I understand this wasn't published in the paper too, but I'm not sure if this would normally be done in this case. But either way, I just wanted to say that this is the first step, but hopefully it can be done differently next time, so that people aren't affected this way. It came out all of a sudden. These people had no idea, and I know I wouldn't want it to happen to me. So that's all I have to say.
Call the roll.
We need a motion, Supervisor? You need a motion, Mr. Supervisor? I'm sorry.
Question.
No.
We had the question on it, didn't you?
Yeah, but there was no motion.
Okay, before we call for the motion,
But that's what we called for the motion that we had the question on it, didn't we?
no.
So we had the question before the motion.
Would the board entertain tabling this to the next meeting instead of taking action? Because Mr. Calder has raised some points as far as notification and I've been through this package once, and I know this is an old project, okay? So in order for the board to make a more informed decision, and also be fair to the residents and the applicant, I would suggest that we table this. The next meeting, I believe, is April 13th. And maybe we can talk to our planning department and to Mr. Eads. I thought I saw him in the audience. I see his hand out there to get all the details on this before we take action. So I would offer that to the board.
Thank you.
You wanna make a motion to table?
Somebody has to make a motion to table it,
Yeah,
I'll make the motion to table it.
and I will second it.
second it.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes?
Ms. Deleva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yep.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes. Motion table.
Resolution number 138.11, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract with a town designated attorney to review and negotiate a sewer use contract with the city of Schenectady.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Supervisor.
Second.
I'll second.
Any question? Call the roll.
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes?
Ms. Deleva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passes.
Resolution number 139.11, authorizes purchase of 2 unmarked police cars by the Rotterdam Police Department, one under the New York State contract and a second through the open competitive bidding process.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a question? Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mr.
Any
Supervisor.
question?
Mr. Godlewski?
Yes?
Ms. Deleva?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Calder?
Yes.
Supervisor Delgado?
Yes, motion passes.
Consent